Hi, it's another episode of Reflex. You know who is excited? Me, because you've been listening and been following. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Thank you and keep listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'd also like to know what you think of the story so far. Tim felt it would be a bad idea to discourage Abimbola from attending a final year dinner, and it was going to be out of place for him to be there. He told her to go with one of her male friends, that he was fine with it and that she had his blessings, and to assure her of that, he paid for the couple's dinner tickets that would cover for her and whoever would go with her. After much persuasion, she agreed to go. The venue for the dinner was at the staff club of the university, which was exclusive to members only, but because the chairman of the committee for their final year activities was a son to one of the members, they got access to use the place. Being an exclusive venue, everyone wanted to be there, and as it appeared, the Department of Dramatic Arts had outdone all others that year. K was a 500 level student from the Faculty of Medicine, and he had been friends with Abimbola for years. Abimbola told him about her boyfriend's offer, and being a good friend to her, he didn't want her to miss out on a dinner just like Tim didn't, and promised to go with her, since all she needed was his presence. He had a car, so it was easy for them to navigate through her friend's hostel, where she planned to stay for the night, and the staff club. Everything seemed fine when they got to the venue of the dinner, until K was called by a colleague that his attention was needed by one of the patients that was assigned to him at the teaching hospital. He told Abimbola that he regretted leaving her, but he had no choice, and that he would be back as soon as possible. So, he left, but promised to come back to pick her up and that she should call him when she's ready to leave. Immediately after K left, Fred took his position. Fred was also a student of dramatic art, and he liked Abimbola, but he was known for mischief. Abimbola sensed trouble, but she didn't want to create a scene. She asked him to leave her table, but he insisted that he didn't want to leave her sitting lonely on a table that's meant for two in a dinner. Her boyfriend, referring to K, refused to stay. Since they were not in any form of friendship, she decided she wouldn't Fred no explanation and decided to enjoy the night, trying as much as she could to tolerate his presence. About an hour later, she tried reaching K but couldn't, and she didn't want him to be worried about her, so she tried to make small talks with Fred. She realized that Fred was cool without the mischief, of course, and because she had no choice, she had to put up with him. The staff club was beginning to be empty as people had started making their way back to wherever they planned to stay the night. It was 1 a.m. in the morning and she still wasn't able to reach K. The venue was practically empty and Fred had stayed with her throughout the time, trying to behave as much as he could. Abimbola kept thanking Fred for staying back with her, but he brushed it off as nothing. She was getting worried as every minute went by, but Fred kept telling her to calm down. She was already shaking from the cold of the air conditioner in the room. Fred noticed too and asked her permission to sit right beside her to give her warmth. She rejected the offer at first, but later agreed after Fred convinced her that it was just an innocent body contact, nothing out of the ordinary. As much as she hated the idea, she couldn't say no because she was already freezing. Few minutes later, she checked her phone. It was 1:45 a.m. and there was no reply from K's WhatsApp or text message. Meanwhile, a lot was already going through Fred's mind. In no time, his arm was already across Abimbola's shoulder, and the smell of her running through his senses. He could hardly concentrate on his promise to behave. Before they both knew what was going on, Fred lifted her chin. Abimbola's lips parted to say she didn't think that was a good idea, but it was too late. Fred's lips had found hers before she knew it, and it felt so good. He was so good at it, it made her cling more to him, but her thoughts made her stop short. What was she doing? She thought to herself and broke away. Without looking at him, she ran for the door, but before she got there, he caught up with her and held her hand. She couldn't run fast enough because she was wearing a high-heeled pair of shoes. She felt all the heat run up her face, that if she was white, her skin would have turned red out of embarrassment. Fred told her he was sorry and he didn't mean to do what he did. He said he thought she wanted him as much as he wanted her, and when she clung to him, he begged her to stay a little longer, and if her friend wasn't still reachable, he said, referring to Kate because she later told him he was a close friend, he would walk her to the hostel. She had no option, and she was scared of going out there in the dark, so she agreed, trying to stay as far away from him as she could. They were the only ones left in the room. Since she was seated far away from him, he decided he didn't want to sit anymore, but started walking around the tables. He asked her if she liked the kiss, but she didn't respond, and that made him think that she did. He promised her he would never tell anyone about it if she didn't, and proceeded to tell her that it was okay to like something and not hold back from having it. He told her they were both adults, and if anything happened between them, it was because they wanted it to happen. He moved closer to her in a subtle and seamless, harmless manner and touched her hand. Abimbola felt waves through her body as he touched her. Why was she feeling this way? She didn't know. Did Fred put something in her drink? That was impossible because she only stood up once to go to the restroom. The wine they took, she made sure it was freshly opened and it didn't have alcohol in it, or did it? It was creamy and sweet, and from what she knew, alcohol didn't taste that sweet. The room was dark, so she couldn't read the contents on the bottle. The first sip seemed to convince her that the drink was alcohol-free, so she just concluded that it was. Thank you for tuning in and for listening till the end of this episode. You are the real MVP. Thank you so much. So till next time, please stay tuned and like, subscribe, and turn on your notification for the next episode. So until then, please do take care of yourself. Bye bye.